Hello everyone, this is Rakesh Kapoor again. So I welcome you back in my today's video. So today we are going to discuss class 12's accountancy, and today we are going to start the third and last portion of this accountancy class plus 2 CBSE, and we are going to start the analysis of the financial statements. So before starting what is analysis and what we used to do in order to analyze the financial statement, first of all, let me tell you what is financial statements. Financial statements are those statements which are being prepared by the concern at the end of accounting process, at the end of accounting cycle. When we have prepared the trial balance, the next step is to make the trading profit and loss account and the balance sheet. And these statements are called financial statement. Financial statements are those statements which are being prepared at the end of the accounting year or the end of the accounting procedure cycle in order to know the profit or loss, or in order to know the financial position of the company. In that case, the very first financial statement we can study, that is balance sheet, and the other statement what we can prepare, that is income statement, which is also called profit and loss account, and the notes to the account. And this notes to the account is a detail of item what we have put in the balance sheet or what we have put in the income statement, means profit and loss. So we will start balance sheet. Balance sheet is being prepared by following the part 1 of schedule 3 of Company Act 2013. Part 1, schedule 3 of Company Act 2013. And this year in plus 2 you will see the balance sheet of a company is totally different to the balance sheet what we have gone through in plus 1, that is relating to sole proprietor. Now all these items are being categorized in this balance sheet according to this norms, part 1, schedule 3 of Company Act. So balance sheet will be supported with one more statement, that is notes to the account, and you will put all the detail of these items or subcategories of these items in the notes to the accounts. First of all, you will write the name of the company on the top, then balance sheet as at, means when you are going to prepare that either on the 31st March or 31st April, 31st December, as the case may be. Now particulars, here you have to put the note number if you want to give the sub detail in the notes to accounts, figure at the current value, current year, and figures at the previous period. The very first item you will put equity and liability. It will show all the liability side, and it having 3 main headings. Basically it may having more than 3, but those headings which will not work and which will not be evaluated in the final examination, we will not discuss that. And like equity and liability, and out of equity and liability, first heading will be shareholder fund, and this shareholder fund having 2 subheads. The very first is share capital. Here you will put number 1, because the detail of share capital you will find in the notes to the accounts what we have done in the company accounts issue of share. Means you will do equity shares, preference shares, fully subscribed, not fully subscribed, subscribed, not fully paid up, minus calls in area. Means this value you have gone through in your share list. Nothing new, nothing add or nothing deducted. The second is reserve and surplus, and in this reserve and surplus, let me tell you what may be the different types of item you will record. Here you will give the only detail of reserve and surplus, and you will put here suppose note number 2. Now all the items of the reserve and surplus will be shown in the notes to the account. And what may be there? It may have capital reserve, capital redemption reserve, security premium reserve, debenture redemption reserve, revaluation reserve, or any other reserve or any other fund. Means सारे रिजर्व सारे फंड्स इसी में आएंगे। दिस इज द फर्स्ट हेड, दैट इज शेयर होल्डर फंड। इट मे हैव टू मोर आइटम्स बट दैट वी विल नीड नॉट टू you can say study, that is like money received against share warrant. You need not to do that. And after that, the second item in the balance sheet may be share application money pending allotment. You need not to do. The third item you will do, which I have categorized number 2, non-current liability, means long-term liability. All the liability which company have to pay more than after 1 year, that will be non-current liability. और इसके यहाँ पर total basically 4 types हैं, but the 2 type you need not to do because these will not be evaluated in the exam. The first is long term borrowing. Long term borrowing, अगर आपने कोई भी long term borrowing किया हुआ है, long term, this is borrowing, right? Long term borrowing is that borrowing which you have to pay after 1 year. You need not to pay that within 1 year. That may be debentures, that may be bond, that may be term loan, that may be long term loan from the bank. Okay, this is long term borrowing. Second is long term provisions. Long term provisions means those provisions which we have created for more than 12 months. Like we used to create some sort of reserve, some sort of provisions, then this will be like provision for dividend, provision for taxation, but these are the normally current type of provisions. But if we have created these type of provision for more than 12 months, ये long term provisions आ जाएंगे. Next is current liability, third heading. Current liabilities are those liability which we have to pay within 1 year. और इसके यहाँ पर total 4 sub heads हैं. The very first is short term borrowing. मीन्स अगर आपने कोई बोरो किया है, कोई लोन लिया है, लाइक लोन पेबल ऑन डिमांड, बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट, कैश क्रेडिट, लोन फ्रॉम एनी पार्टी विच इज टू बी रीपेड विद इन 12 मंथ्स, वो शॉर्ट टर्म बोरिंग है. देन ट्रेड पेबल्स. ट्रेड पेबल्स जो है इसमें आएंगे हमारे पास क्रेडिटर्स एंड बिल्स पेबल. बी केयरफुल, ट्रेड पेबल इंक्लूड्स ट्रेड क्रेडिटर्स एज वेल एज बिल्स पेबल. उन दोनों का टोटल हो जाएगा ट्रेड पेबल्स. एंड क्रेडिटर्स आर नाउ कॉल्ड अकाउंट्स पेबल. अकाउंट्स पेबल प्लस बिल्स पेबल विल इक्वल टू ट्रेड पेबल्स. नेक्स्ट इज अदर करंट लायबिलिटी. अदर करंट लायबिलिटीज इंक्लूड ऑल दोज लायबिलिटीज which cannot be categorized under short term or this, and it may include like income received in advance and outstanding expense means unpaid expense. These you can categorize under other current liability. Now the next is short term provisions. If any provision is being made for 12 months, इसमें आप लिख सकते हो provision for taxation, provision for depreciation if it is for 1 year, or provision for you can say dividend which is called proposed dividend. This is short term provision. ये हो गई liability side. अगर आप इसमें से किसी भी आइटम की डिटेल देना चाहते हो, like you have so many current liabilities, other current liability, then you need not to put here, you have to give the detail of those other current liabilities in the notes to the account. वो क्या क्या है. Come to the second side, that is asset side. अब ये लायबिलिटी इस तरह से नहीं बनेगी, ये इसके नीचे जाएगी, इसके नीचे. एंड द सेकंड फेज विल स्टार्ट एसेट. फर्स्ट फेज वाज इक्विटी एंड लायबिलिटी. नाउ द सेकंड फेज इज एसेट, एंड द वेरी फर्स्ट इज नॉन करंट एसेट व्हिच इज आल्सो कॉल्ड लॉन्ग टर्म एसेट. एंड दिस नॉन करंट एसेट इज बीइंग कैटेगराइज्ड इनटू 3 टाइप्स ऑफ कैटेगरी. द वेरी फर्स्ट इज फिक्स्ड एसेट which may be of 2 types, tangible and intangible. Tangible which can be seen, which can be moved from one place to another place, which can be means which having a physical existence. Intangible asset is that asset which cannot be seen, goodwill, patent, copyright, trademark. Non-current investment, if you have invested the money in that source where the amount is being invested for more than 1 year, long-term investment. लॉन्ग टर्म लोन एंड एडवांस. अगर आपने किसी को लोन दिया हुआ है and that loan is being given for more than 12 months, it will be categorized under the head long-term loan and advance. Next is other non-current asset. Other non-current asset. Let me tell you what may be there in other non-current asset. You may find some assets also here which will not be categorized, which will be need not to evaluated, like a deferred tax asset, right? And in this other just wait, this is long-term loan and advance, and after that this is other non-current asset. This may include long-term trade receivables, long-term debtors, bills receivable, but if it is long-term. But normally these are of short-term. The second is current asset. The assets whose life is maximum 1 year. The very first is current investment. If you have invested the money for 12 months, short-term temporary assets. Inventory. This will show the stocks, value of raw material, work in progress, or the finished product. Trade receivables. Trade receivables, just like you have gone through a trade payable. Trade receivables is the total of debtors and bills receivable. Debtors and bills receivable. But now you can call the debtors as accounts receivable. Accounts receivable plus bills payable is equal to trade receivables. Then cash and cash equivalent. Cash balance, bank balance, and certain other assets which can be categorized similar to the cash, which is short-term, liquid, temporary security. Third, next is short-term loan advance. अगर तो आपने लोन किसी को दिया हुआ है for more than 12 months, then it will be categorized as long-term loan advances. But if the loan is being given to someone for 12 months, short-term. And the last is other current asset. Other current asset will include prepaid expense, means expense paid in advance, or income accrued, means the income which is yet to be received before the services has been given. So this is other current assets. Now you will make the total of both these sides and it should be equal. This is the balance sheet. Here what you have to do, by understanding all these things, what should be your main target? आपका मेन टारगेट होना चाहिए ये कैटेगराइज, आपको कैटेगराइज करना आना चाहिए कि कौन सी आइटम कौन से हेड और कौन से सब हेड के अंडर आती है. सपोज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट गुडविल. गुडविल विल बी कैटेगराइज्ड अंडर नॉन करंट एसेट. हेडिंग इज फिक्स्ड एसेट एंड सब हेडिंग इज इंटेंजिबल एसेट. इफ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट बैंक बैलेंस, बैंक बैलेंस कहां लाइज करेगा? बैंक बैलेंस करंट एसेट, कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट. If I will talk कि suppose security premium reserve कहाँ आएगा? Security premium reserve will be categorized under the head shareholder fund and under the sub head reserve and surplus. Trade creditors कहाँ आएंगे? Creditors. Then trade creditors will be categorized under the current liability and under the sub head trade payables. Your main target for reading or understanding all these things should be to understand कि कौन सी आइटम किस हेड और किस सब हेड के अंडर लाइज करती है. Okay, so this is all about the balance sheet and the different types of heads as well as sub heads of these assets and liabilities of the balance sheet. And in the next of the video we will try to understand next type of financial statement. Okay, thank you very much.